Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Beauty and Difference podcast, where I share the stories of individuals who have learned to not just accept, but celebrate their difference in hopes that we all can too. Today, I am here with a very special guest. This is actually my first international guest. His name is Mattias. And Mattias, if you would just want to go ahead, take it away and share your story of your difference.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really pleased to share my story. I'm currently 24 years old. I'm living in Belgium. Grew up here as well, and I was born with a visible difference, being a port wine stain covering the right side of my face. And yeah, for many people like us, growing up is sometimes difficult or often difficult, right? So I experienced all of that as well. So bullying, stares, every day the same questions over and over again. Of course, growing up, I did lots of laser treatments to try and lighten or remove my birthmark. I think I did around 15 treatments in total. Of course, those are very painful because they burn down your blood vessels. Because with a port wine stain like mine, your blood vessels are enlarged and the regulation is not as it should be, and they burn down your blood vessels. So it's quite painful. It's also not reimbursed because it's seen as something aesthetical and not medical. Unfortunately, I don't get it why, but okay. So it's quite expensive as well. And you can do it like multiple times a year, but not super often because you can't come in direct contact with the sun afterwards. So at the age of 13, something like that, I started looking at other possibilities because I was bullied a lot with it. Everywhere I came, I had to answer the same questions. When I went out to dinner, people were staring at me from all over the restaurant. For my self-esteem, because I was going to high school then, when I was 13 years old, and bigger group of people, more exposure, of course, more chance to get bullied, and people are in puberty. So I don't blame other people as well because they were going through a rough period themselves, probably. But started looking to cover up my burn mark a little bit back then. And I went to the university hospital where I did my treatments, my laser treatments. And there they had a department where they covered scars or birthmarks like mine. And there I got recommended a product which I tried, and it gave me quite some confidence that I was more seen for Mattias or Mattias in English, and not for the kids with the birthmark. Of course, that covering was not ideal to say the least. So I had like two different colors of skin. It wasn't covered fully, but it gave me some hope, and that was huge for me. And then actually, fast forward now, 10 years later, I think I've tried almost every makeup brand there is to try and cover my birthmark while also being beneficial for my skin, because lots of products dry out your skin, clog your pores. It's really time consuming to put it on every day because there need to be multiple layers until you have that coverage. And now I've been doing that like 10 years, and the last decade I've been covering my birthmark almost every day, especially when I go out in public. When I'm with close friends, I don't do it, or with my family. But when I go out, I cover it. And some voice in the head of my head went like, there must be like a better solution for people that have like the same issues that I'm currently experiencing. So either the stares and the bullying, so the mental aspect, but also like people that want to cover it don't really have like a good choice out there for them, specifically made for them. And that's why the idea came to start my own beauty brand, being Aspilon Cosmetics. Aspilon is Asian Greek for spotless or pure, so that's the connotation with the name of the brand. And I started the brand with my co-founder. She is a bioengineer and holds a PhD in dermatology. So she is the scientific profile that's backing the company, making sure that we bridge the gap between really good and efficient coverage for all type of skin differences, but also really important that it benefits the skin itself, so that don't clog the pores, that it's SPF 50 in there to protect you against sun damage, hydrating. It restores your skin barrier again. So it's also something you could use after a laser treatment to restore your barrier faster. Um, yeah, so my co-founder is really a skin expert. She's also a best-selling author, a really clever lady. And yeah, together we teamed up to make cosmetics that both cover and are beneficial for the skin. And something really, yeah, our mission is really that people can be seen for who they are. So we give the choice to people. So basically, we don't say you need to cover because you don't look beautiful now. So it's like a balance between, we offer products that can cover a skin condition, but we don't say like you need to cover up to look beautiful, not at all. So we really celebrate people that yeah, are their unique selves and embrace and celebrate their skin difference. But also on some days when you need that extra bit of confidence, or you don't feel good in your skin, and you don't can or you can't handle the day that people are again asking the fucking same stupid questions, right? We are the solution that's really made for them. So that's a bit of a recap about who I am. Yeah.
Oh, see, I love that because you bring such a different perspective. It's so often that I will get questions about my birthmark saying like, well, I
Mm-hmm.
either have to fully cover it or I have to leave it visible. And you know, there are some days when you want the coverage, and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
people who don't have a birthmark or a difference and they kind of just have acne, you don't make them choose between fully covering it or not having
Definitely.
it covered. You kind of allow them to choose. So I like that you allow people to kind of have both. Because there was a point in my life where I really wanted to cover it, and it would have been very beneficial for me to just have the option if there was a day
The
that,
option. Yeah.
yeah, if there was a day that I wanted to. And I love that you turned your difference into your purpose. Like now that
Mhm.
is your passion, is to be that voice and that access for people who have a similar difference as you. I think that's just so beautiful and so special that you were able to do that. Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
of
Yeah, like you were saying, like the choice is really the center point of our existing and our business that we stand for. That's also why we have different products. So both we celebrate people that don't cover it, and then we have a CC cream, which is basically a light day cream for mild rednesses, or people that say like, on a day-to-day basis, I want a little bit of coverage, not fully cover it, but that's not the first thing that people look at when I'm walking across the street, let's say, or when I'm sitting at dinner. And then we have the option also to fully cover it, because yeah, life goes up and down, and sometimes you go 3 months without covering, and then you need 2 months that you want an extra coverage. So just the option that people know the option is there made for me is really something that we want to stand for. Yeah.
Oh, I think that that is just so beautiful. I love that you're able to do
Thank
that for the people who are
you.
purchasing your products. If you were to have one piece of advice that you were to give to someone with a port wine stain,
Mhm.
what would that be? It can be about, makeup and covering it up or just anything in general. What would your biggest piece of advice be?
Mhm. Mm, I think I would say, when I look back and I would give the advice to my younger self, or people that have or are in the same situation, I would say like, um, you are loved like you are, and it's not because you're different that you're not worthy of love. So you are worthy of love. I would say that, I think. Don't forget that you're worthy of love. It's not because you are or have a difference. You are also unique. That makes you special. And for a long time, I also thought that because of my difference, I would not quote unquote succeed in life or get anywhere because of that difference, but that's not true at all. So you can achieve your dreams also with a visible difference. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny because that is like my driving force in life as well. That
Really? Okay.
first of all, it's hard to find that balance, but once you do
Yeah,
and you recognize that your birthmark is the thing or your difference that makes you the most unique, but it also doesn't define you. Like,
yeah,
it was so hard for me to find this balance in life that I
yeah.
loved my birthmark and recognized how unique it allowed me to be. But at
Mhm.
the same time, that Maddie is also an athlete and she loves spending time with family and being outside and traveling. And there's
Right.
so much more to me than that. So it's like,
Exactly.
you want people to know that their love for their whole being and
Yeah,
their difference, not
yeah,
just their difference, not just for all the other things, but all of those
exactly.
in general. And
Yeah.
I love how you said that, you can be successful because I feel like
Mhm.
when you have a difference, you're put into a box of what you're able to do and what you're able to succeed. And you're in the
Mhm.
beauty industry, I do pageantry, and growing up, I would watch Miss America and be told or tell myself that, I couldn't do that with the scarring that I had on my face. And whenever I was
Ah,
younger, it was very discolored, and I've had 12 procedures, so now it's just a lot of scarring. And then
yeah,
I'll have to get more procedures. Like, I have some discoloration in this area and on my lip as well. Um, and I told myself I wouldn't be able to do that. And
yeah.
I was like, I can never do that or be the face of any organization. And
Right.
now
Yeah.
I'm advocating for those people and trying to do that.
Mhm.
And you're doing the same. Like, you probably thought that couldn't be the face of a beauty brand. And now here
Yeah.
you are.
Exactly. Exactly. 100%. I totally agree. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's so cool. And then so you're a global ambassador with the Vascular Birthmarks Foundation. How did you get involved with that?
Yeah, I think because of the content I was putting out, I got in contact with Linda and then Kiara as well, if I'm not mistaken. And they asked me if I wanted to be an ambassador. So yeah, I was really honored to be a global ambassador, of course, for them. So yeah, that's how I became an ambassador. So they asked me, but yeah, it was really an honor, and I think there should be more awareness in general about like skin differences. So it's great what they're doing, and if I can help a little bit, yeah, I'm very happy if I can do that. Yeah.
This question is kind of a tough question, but I get asked this a lot too. Was it you learning to celebrate yourself and not kind of fit in that box society created for you?
Mhm.
Was it more of like one minute you didn't love yourself and the next minute you did, or was it like gradual over time you learned to celebrate who you were?
I think it's a lifelong process. So it's not like one day, or it could be like one day you hate it, the next day you love it, and then the next day you hated it
Kind of back
again.
and forth,
So
yeah.
it's like a lifelong process, and sometimes some months go better, sometimes some months go worse. So that's why I also think like community really matters, and like also VBF really matters because you can connect with people globally that have like the same or experience the same things as you. So if I would say to my mom who really loves me and I love her, but if I say like I'm stared at every day and I have to answer the same questions and it really bothers me, she can be there for me, but she does not really understand how it feels. But if you have people that have experienced the same, you can really connect with them, and I think that's really valuable. So I think community really matters, and we should, yeah, create a really big community of all people with skin differences and try to celebrate and be able to talk about yeah, the things you're going through, and I think that can really help. Yeah. Yeah.
I completely agree. It was so hard growing up being the only person I saw
Yeah, right.
with
I was
birthmarks.
the only person who had this, so I always felt super alone because I was the only person. But then when I learned that lots of other people also have this, you feel like more part of something and not alone anymore. So that's really great. Yeah.
And it's great for the families as well. That's something that I didn't
Yeah.
realize at first is
Yeah.
how great communities like VBF or just like reaching out to
Mhm.
people like this in general is because it's great for our family members to be able to connect and figure out kind of what worked treatment wise for them or where they went or good resources they could use for like therapy even sometimes, and sometimes even just the connections themselves are therapy because you're able
Exactly.
to
Exactly. Yeah.
make connections. Yeah, so I think that that's really special.
Yeah, because I wrote an article like last week or 2 weeks ago that one in three people with a visible difference experience clinical anxiety, and one in four clinical depression. So it really pinpoints that people do feel alone. And if you then can create a community that really can just just talking to someone, even if they're on the other side of the world with the same things that they experience, is really valuable. Yeah, yeah.
I I talk about that all the time as well, being I am currently in physician assistant school, and I talk about the
Mhm.
importance of diversity in the medical field as well.
Yeah.
When you go into your primary care provider or your specialist,
Yeah.
you should be able to
Mhm.
feel comfortable and represented as well. So, I talk a lot about that. Also, having a community that you relate
Mhm.
to is super important. So being able to go that kind of inspired me wanting to go into medicine and specifically,
Mhm.
vascular surgery because I can relate to those patients, allow them to feel more comfortable in that setting. So,
Right.
yeah, it's so cool to have that community support.
Yeah, I totally agree because when I first started out, so before the beauty brand Aspilon was born, I reached back out to the laser department and the department where they covered birthmarks and scars, because I went back to there, and the lady that needed to help me did not had a birthmark, which is completely fine, of course, but she could not relate to the point someone with a birthmark could relate about coverage. So she did her best to help me, but like all the things that she told, I already knew because I was doing it like already 10 years. So I was like, yeah, it's nothing new you're telling me.
Right.
And I also then yeah, said to the department like, maybe I could help, and you can both. I know lots about coverage because I've done it for more than 10 years. I know that the tips and tricks to cover it and to match the rest of your skin tone, but also I can relate on a mental level. Like if people are coming, I can both cover their skin condition, but I can also relate like the things that they're going through because I went through them myself. So that's really important. That's what you're saying. Like you can really relate to those people, and that's really, really a plus. Yeah.
When you're relatable, people trust you more. They kind of let their guard down, their walls down, and it can actually benefit more from what you're saying. Like an example is if you reached out to me about skincare, I would, and coverage, I would be like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. And someone could, it could be the exact same way, but whenever you
Yeah.
relate to someone, you learn to trust them. So I
Yeah.
think that relatability in the field is key. But
100%. 100%. Yeah.
is there anything else you want to, share with the people on the podcast today?
I don't have something specific in mind. Yeah, if people are curious about covering or yeah benefiting their skin, they can also yeah take a look at our website, of course. If they have questions, they can always reach out to me, and we're happy to help also with yeah, figuring out the right shade for your skin because that's sometimes quite a challenge.
Yeah.
So we have built in-house a shade matching tool that basically scans the face, and based on a short questionnaire, they get recommended the right shade for them, and they can try it on virtually to see if the color matches their skin tone. So that's something really nice. And yeah, like I said, if someone is just struggling or want to talk about a topic, I'm always here to listen and to have a chat. So yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Of
Yeah.
course, thank you. I appreciate the perspective that you bring to this and the, choice to choose if
Mhm.
you want to cover or not,
Yeah.
and just giving people the option. So I appreciate
Option.
that you've turned your difference into your passion and purpose. And yeah, I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day,
Thank you.
especially because we're in completely different time zones and
We
different
are, we
countries.
are.
So I appreciate that. But
But you're in New York, or where you're exactly
I'm in
based?
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
So
okay.
Eastern
Nice.
time though. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Okay.
I
Uh,
appreciate you. And for everyone watching, Matthias' story just goes to show the true beauty and difference. And when I say that, I mean it. Thank you so much.
thank you.